Hi, Cooper Clever 1972, back with another video. We're at part 34. This video is going to center on another director. This director is going to be Alejandro Jodorowsky. I believe he's from Chile. He's sort of like a surrealist filmmaker. His personality, he's into like New Age stuff. He's into all kinds of religions around the world and mystical stuff. Um, and you'll see like evidence of this when we take a look at his work. But he does things where like he has activities like, I don't know if there's seances or something. It's on the box set. There's a special feature. Video piece where he picks somebody out of the crowd and sort of does this kind of maybe it's being a psychic or something. I don't know what it is exactly. Some New Age kind of thing. But he's influenced directors like David Lynch. He's said to be the father of the Midnight movie. I'm not sure if that's the case. I guess he is. But Eraserhead by David Lynch is also a midnight movie, so I don't know. I mean, the film I'm going to show you first, actually, it's the second film as I see it on the box set. That particular film that is the midnight movie that I'm going to talk about came out before Eraserhead. So, anyways, let's get to the box set. And then I have another movie to show you concerning Jodorowsky as well. So this is the films of Alejandro Jodorowsky. You got Fando Elise, El Topo, and The Holy Mountain. I'll read this to you. John Lennon championed him. Dennis Hopper used him, and Marilyn Manson loves him. Alejandro Jodorowsky is one of cinema's most controversial and influential filmmakers. In 1968, his scandalous debut, Fando Elise, caused a riot in Mexico. His ultra-violent underground hit El Topo dragged the hippie generation into the 70s, single-handedly inventing the American midnight movie phenomenon, and transformed its creator into a counterculture icon. With The Holy Mountain, his pop alchemical follow-up, Jodorowsky tore apart the very fabric of film. After 35 years in the wilderness, the maverick visionary is back to shock, and bedazzle audiences all over again. Ben Cobb, Anarchy and Alchemy, the films of Alejandro Jodorowsky. This film's not going to be too. I mean, this video is not going to be too long, I don't think. But I'm going to read this because I think you might find it interesting. So the first one's Fando Elise. Banned in Mexico, a permanent cause celeb. Surrealist fabulador, Alejandro Jodorowsky's unique career began with this bizarre tale of corrupted innocence, sadomasochistic love, and unattainable paradise. Created from hazy memories of the controversial Fernando Arabai play he staged in Paris, Jodorowsky's sublime freakout follows impotent Fando, Sergio Kleiner, and his paraplegic sweetheart, Lise Diana Marcel, searching for the enchanted city of Tar, where spiritual ecstasy resides. The astonishing road trip takes them through urban rubble, scalding deserts, treacherous mountains, their own paths, and close encounters of the weirdest kind in Jodorowsky's seminal signature work of startling provocation and an incendiary art. And that's from Alan Jones, who wrote that quip. He wrote all the descriptions here. Second one's El Topo. It was a landmark cult film that began the whole midnight movie phenomena of the counterculture crazy 1970s. El Topo was the most talked about, most controversial quasi-Western head trip ever made, transforming the way risk-taking audiences seeking mainstream Hollywood alternatives watch edgy underground films. Classic Americana and avant-garde European cinema sensibilities meet Zen Buddhism and the Bible as master gunfighter and cosmic mystic El Topo, played by writer-director Alejandro Jodorowsky, must defeat his four sharpshooting rivals on an ever-increasingly bizarre path to allegorical self-enlightenment and surreal resurrection. And then the third is The Holy Mountain. The scandal of the 1973 Cannes Film Festival, writer-director Alejandro Jodorowsky's flood of sacrilegious imagery and existential symbolism is a spiritual quest for enlightenment, pitting illusion against truth. The Alchemist, Jodorowsky assembles together a group of people from all walks of life to represent the planets in the solar system. The occult adept's attention is to put his recruits through strange mystical rites and divest them of their worldly baggage before embarking on a trip to Lotus Island. There they ascend the Holy Mountain to displace the mortal gods who secretly rule the universe. And then the bonus material you get La Cravate, which came out in 1957. In 1957, Jodorowsky took his first steps in the world of the moving image by filming a silent version of Thomas Mann's The Transposed Heads, A Legend of India and Paris. His 25-minute short film, La Cravate, was considered lost for 50 years until its discovery in a German attic in 2006. It is about a girl who sells heads. She changes the heads of a poetical guy and a boxer. She puts a spiritual head on the strong body and the idiot head on the spiritual body, and each head then changes its body. Jodorowsky is saying, you are not a body who has a spirit, you are a spirit who has a body. And that's from Ben Cobb, Anarchy and Alchemy, the films of Alejandro Jodorowsky. Then you get La Constellation, a 90-minute documentary on the life and art of Alejandro Jodorowsky. Includes interviews with Jean Mobius Girard, who I think had a huge influence on Blade Runner, if I'm not mistaken. Marcel Marceau, I guess he's a clown or a mime, but I know I've heard that name. And Peter Gabriel, famous rock musician. It's got El Topo soundtrack, original soundtrack album, the Holy Mountain soundtrack, original score, never before released. Feature commentary by Alejandro Jodorowsky, subtitled features, bonus material and commentary tracks, on-camera interview with Alejandro Jodorowsky, original theatrical trailers, photo gallery, and original script excerpts. So let's take a look inside. That's the side there. You got Fondo Elise there, El Topo, and Holy Mountain. And these particular photos, this is Alejandro Jodorowsky and the horse there, and this is him with his arms around those two women. So anyways, here's the first feature, Fondo Elise. This is an interesting image. It's just the photo, just the same as the cover. This is an interesting shot where there's a band playing and somebody's playing a piano, but the piano is on fire while they're playing the piano. So he does these really weird things. El Topo, I've watched the other two, but I haven't watched El Topo, and I hear El Topo is great. Roger Ebert, when he was alive, on one of his shows, I think Siskel was dead by that point, but anyways, he did one, I think it was with the Harry Nowles of Ain't It Cool News. They were talking about films that were cult films that, they're not like Citizen Kane movies, but they're more films that really haven't gotten any publicity and should. So El Topo is the one that Ebert recommended, and that during that show. I have watched The Holy Mountain. It's a really bizarre movie. And what I mean by bizarre is like they have a scene with lizards with small clothes on them, and they're positioned on like a Inca or Maya small miniature um, uh, city. What else is weird about this movie? Excrement is turned into gold. What else happens in this movie? This movie is really weird. I mean, really weird. When I talk about excrement, it's not sick like Salo kind of sick. It's but this film is weird, and some of it sort of doesn't make sense. Um, but I think it's okay to watch. I don't think it's so weird that you're going to turn it off. Kind of weird. I think it's weird that you're going to watch it and be compelled to watch more of it. But it's definitely off the beaten path. You know. Then it comes with La Cravate, which is a short film. And same inside there. And then you got the soundtracks. You have the El Topo soundtrack with Alejandro Jodorowsky on the front there. And I think it's just that's just the disc. And then you have the Holy Mountain soundtrack. It's got an interesting score, Holy Mountain, like having something like Buddhist chanting and eyes, and just there's a scene where there's like a hippopotamus in a room with a spring, and what else is in that room? It's just the weirdest movie. Probably I could say it's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen in my life. I could say that, but it's interesting. Yeah, so that's the box set for you, and I'll get to the other film that concerns Jodorowsky. He didn't make this movie. This is a documentary that somebody made. I believe I showed this film in an earlier video, but I didn't. I don't think I got into detail about this. I just showed it, what I picked up at one point. It was like a year or so ago when I bought this. I saw it at the Jacob Burns Film Center, and then I bought it on Blu-ray, and it comes with the DVD too. But the film I'm talking about is Jodorowsky's Dune. Really good documentary. It's about when Jodorowsky had control over making Dune. Of course, after he left, he was transferred to Ridley Scott, and after Ridley Scott left, it was transferred to David Lynch. Some of the ideas for this particular movie, when Jodorowsky was at the helm, were transferred to Alien. This is where the guy from Switzerland, H.R. Giger, enters the picture for the first time. And you have, what's his name? Maybe I could see in the back here and it could tell me. I can't remember his name. He wrote the screenplay for Alien, and it came from the screenplay for Alien originally came from another film, which I'll show you at some point, called I think it's called not Death Star. I can't remember the title. Something Star, I think. Dark Star, I think that's the name of the movie. It was directed by John Carpenter. It's John Carpenter's first feature. And it's very similar to Alien. It uses it's more cheesy, and the special effects are more cheesy. But Steve, no, I'm not Bannon, O'Bannon, something O'Bannon. I can't remember that guy's name. But the screenwriter, he helped with the writing of Jodorowsky's Dune. So they hired H.R. Giger. They hired Mobius, and they got a lot of headway into making the film, but in the end, it just fell apart. The Paul character for Dune was going to be played by Jodorowsky's son, and he was taught in the martial arts how to fight. I mean, they were putting a lot of money and time into this. They hired Pink Floyd as one of the musicians on one of the planets. They hired another rock group that was, I guess they were popular at the time, a group called Magma. I think they're French, as another planet with other musicians. And he was going to have Orson Welles in it. And Orson Welles originally didn't want to be on the project, but he said yes after Alejandro Jodorowsky said to him, if I pay for every one of your meals after this film at your favorite restaurant with your favorite chefs, something to that effect, he said, will you be in my film? And then he said yes. And then he has Salvador Dali. He tried to cast him in one of the roles here, and he got him too, but he had to play like a little song and dance, a little. He didn't get him easy. That's the point I'm trying to drive across. It wasn't a slam dunk. I mean, he had to sort of court him, if you will. There's some kind of banter they had to engage in, some kind of social conversations, and like he had to appear with Dali's entourage, and so they had to go through some like riddle or game so Dali would agree to be in the movie. So I'll read the back here. In 1975, director Alejandro Jodorowsky began work on his most ambitious project yet, starring his own 12-year-old son alongside Orson Welles, Mick Jagger, David Carradine, and Salvador Dali, featuring music by Pink Floyd and art by some of the most provocative talents of the era, including H.R. Giger and Jean Mobius Gerard. Jodorowsky's adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel Dune was poised to change cinema forever. Through interviews with legends and luminaries, including H.R. Giger, artist Alien, Gary Kurtz, producer Star Wars Episodes 4 and 5, and Nicholas Winding Refn, director of Drive, and an intimate and honest conversation with Jodorowsky, director Frank Pavich's film finally unearths the full saga, the greatest movie never made. There's also a book. I think it has the same picture that it does have on the Blu-ray, but there's only a handful of these books. It was a real thick book, and it was a storyboarded look at what the film would look like before they shot it. They didn't have all the technology at the time to really tackle all the shots they wanted to do. But anyways, as you watch a documentary, you find out that some of the shots that they tried to accomplish in Dune by Jodorowsky, they would later find their way into other movies like Flash Gordon in the early 80s, or Contact with Jodie Foster, which is based on a novel by Carl Sagan. And there are other films too that some of the storyboarded pictures were incorporated into other films in the future. So when in conclusion, in the end of this film, Jodorowsky doesn't really, I don't think he sees himself as a failure that he didn't make this film, because he managed to either have some of these elements, some of these shots find their way into other movies and also into some of his own work. So it wasn't a complete disaster. But it's a really fascinating documentary about a film that was never made. And yeah, this is really good, really enjoyable. I've watched it more than once, and I really enjoy it. So anyways, that does it for this video. Next up, we got James Cameron. And of course, what I said was two of the greatest films of the 21st century, according to me. So there's probably some other films I would include too, but they're right next to each other, so I'll show you those. And then we go on top of the bookcase itself. We go to probably, I don't know, the towers or the bookcase in between the two other bookcases. We'll see what happens, but anyways, you'll see everything is what I'm saying. But thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you soon, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.